In the last set of videos, we showed you how to create IDs in CSS and then place those inside divs in your HTML to now control the layout of your page and then of your site as a whole. So you can see here we have a header div, we have a navigation div, we have the section div, which is containing all the content, and then we have the footer div down here, and we've styled these individually to how we want them, and it now creates the look of our site. You can then go in and mess around with the CSS, mess around with the style sheet, and fundamentally change the look and feel of your site just with a couple clicks. So that's kind of that's the power of CSS, that you can make those changes across the board very quickly. But one thing you're going to quickly find when you start working with CSS is there are a million style sheets out on the web. You might find one and you think, well, I want to apply this to my site. It may not always be easy, but you need to know the relationship between that style sheet and your HTML. So we're gonna apply a different style sheet here, one that I've already created. And what it's going to do is it's going to move the navigation from up here on top to here vertically. So we're going to introduce something called float. We're also going to have to create a parent div to contain all of this. So we're going to call that the main ID. That will be in a div, and you'll see that we can have parent divs and child divs living within those divs. So here we go. So I have a couple of things. I'm going to get rid of this really quickly. Sorry. And okay, we're good to go. So a couple of things here. One, I need to go in. This is my new style sheet that contains the vertical navigation. So everything else is familiar. You should recognize the IDs of the header, of the nav, of the section, and the footer. But here's that main ID that we're creating, and that's going to be in that parent div that we'll have in the site. You can see I called this style 3, so I had to go in here and change the name of the style sheet attached to this. Now I need to put that main ID inside a div, and where I'm going to do that is right away in the body. So it's going to be the first thing. So I need to do div ID equals main, and I'm going to close that, and then that's going to hold everything. It's going to contain everything all the way down to the end. So I'm going to close that div, and we haven't talked about this yet in class, but this might be a good time to begin to add comments to your HTML that help you as a coder. And how you do that is you open a bracket and do the two dashes after the exclamation mark, and you can say main div ends here, and then you close that bracket, and that will not show up. You can see it's grayed out. That will not show up on your page. It is just simply helping you as a coder understand what's going on right there. So we should now save, and when I go back and refresh this, you can see we now have our side navigation. We have the section over here, and we have our footer. So you can then go in and begin to customize this one if you would like. A couple of other things that you'll notice, we have a rounded corner right here. That's a new aspect of CSS 3 that we're working with. So if you look here in the header, that's because of this border radius right here, where we told it left and right to be 10 pixels and then square on the top and bottom. You may also notice we have a gradient here, so that's also a new aspect that we've added, and that is right here, linear gradient, and then we told it what color to start at and what color to end at, so you can see the gradient there. So that's the power of CSS. If I go through and have your other pages attached to, or that style sheet attached to your other pages, this would now be a sweeping change throughout your website, and that is the power of CSS. So kind of knock yourself out, go crazy making changes to the style sheet, and change the aspect and the look of your site itself.